Lake in beautiful Allegany County, about to go on a hiking trip. I love the outdoors and we're about to see it from a whole new point of view. Pretty excited. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome.
My name's Ron Abraham. Today we're hiking on my adopted section of the Genesee Valley Greenway. The trail follows the historic route of the Genesee Valley Canal and its successor, the Pennsylvania Railroad Rochester Branch. So we're going to see not only canal features, but also some railroad features along the way and a few other historic features as well. Okay, here's a feature of interest, although it's hard to see now because of the vegetation, but this was the site of a Genesee Valley Canal lock. You can see the canal bed we've been following all of a sudden gets narrow, and there's an abrupt change in elevation. The canal was a series of flat stretches of water connected by locks, which typically raise the water level about 11 feet. All right, let's head up the trail here. Okay, at this spot here, you'll notice that all of a sudden the canal bed disappeared. That's because of what's up the trail another mile or so. When the canal got to Rockville Lake, there was a series of locks in pretty short succession, and that was impractical for the railroad to follow because it needs a more gradual grade. So at this spot, the rail bed began to veer away from the canal bed. So from here on, we're actually going to be hiking on the rail bed itself, and the canal bed is right under us. It was filled in to build the railroad, and pretty soon the towpath will be visible separate from the trail on the left-hand side. Okay, as I mentioned back on the trail, in order to get past Rockville Lake, the railroad had to veer away from the canal towpath to get a better alignment and a less steep grade. So we're actually standing on the canal towpath right here, and you can see the rail bed up above there where the trail actually is. The white post up there is a wooden milepost, one of the few remaining from the Pennsylvania Railroad. But the stonework you see right here, the only reason that remains today is because it was in the perfect position to serve as a retaining wall for the railroad bed. Most of the locks were dismantled when the railroad was built, and the stones were used to build box culverts and other railroad structures. So, except in a very few places where the locks were too inaccessible, most of the stonework is gone from the canal days. This is what's locally known as the Irish Cemetery. It dates back to about the 1840s. There was a small settlement here even before the canal was built, populated largely by Irish. If you look close, you can see the headstones are in rows that run more or less this direction. Some of the headstones are quite fancy. Others are just unmarked graves, other than just a plain fieldstone set on edge. So depending on how wealthy the family was, you have a wide variety of stones here. Yeah, places like this cemetery along the Genesee Valley Greenway are one of the reasons the Friends of the Genesee Valley Greenway are involved, just trying to preserve as much local history as we can. Well, if you folks are ready, we'll continue on and finish the hike.
Thank you
you so much for taking us on this trip today. It was great to see the nature and all the history that this area has to give. It was just great.
Well, it was my pleasure to lead the hike. You only got to see a small sample of what's out here, but I'd encourage anybody who enjoys hiking and learning about local history to come check out the Genesee Valley Greenway. There's a lot to see and learn.
I'll definitely come back.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming.